What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today, Grandmaster Nightfalls just went live within Destiny 2 Season of the Seraph. Now this happens every season, but this one is a way bigger deal than normal, and that's because due to some recent changes, more people than ever are going to be able to participate and get insane rewards. And so, let's get started. But just before we do you guys want a free gaming PC? Well, I just partnered with Evolve PCs, a fantastic PC company actually headed up by Triple Rec, a Destiny community icon. So to celebrate, we're giving away a Kagas HD Signature Series PC. The budget was supposed to be $3,500, but Triple put so many juice parts in it. $3,600 value PC given away for free. Guys, just click the link in the description down below, enter the competition on Twitter, and good luck, gamers. Alright, now on to the Grandmaster Nightfall. The big change made was that the light level requirements were lowered significantly. As you can see, if you are 1580, you can actually participate in this Grandmaster. So that is huge news. And not to mention, this week is double Nightfall rewards. As you can see, get in there and get that juiced exotic armor. This is going to be one of the best farms in the entire game. So, the farmable one this week is the Insight Terminus. Now the important modifiers are the champions are both unstoppable and barrier. We've got void and arc shields, and the acute burn is going to be void. So let's take a look at a build for each of the different classes to massively take advantage of this stuff. Now, starting with the Titan, we have Striker with Thunder Crash, Thruster as our class ability, then we've got Seismic Strike for the movement, we've got Storm Grenades, of course, our aspects are going to be Touch of Thunder combined with Knockout, our fragments are going to be Spark of Recharge, Spark of Shock, Spark of Ions, and lastly, Spark of Magnitude. Now on to the weapons. The first one, it's the Arbalest. We've got Barrier Champs, and this is arguably the best anti-barrier weapon in the entire game. Phenomenal exotic. Now, for my energy weapon, I've actually got a Forgiveness as my primary weapon. I was thinking about the Aikilos SMG, but because enemies are so much harder to kill in Grandmasters, it can be hard to trigger Volt Shot. So with the Forgiveness, I want Demolitionist for my grenades, and when I get my grenade kills, it's going to be absolutely juiced to the gills thanks to Adrenaline Junkie. So keep that in mind. Now moving on to my heavy, it's got to be a Taipan. This is going to take advantage of that acute void burn and do a ton of DPS. Now moving on from there to the armor. So my exotic is the Heart of Inmost Light. Using my abilities increases the recharge and the damage of my other abilities. That's why we're using Thruster. You can pop that off all the time and get the recharges going. I also on here have Font of Might, so I can increase the damage of my arc weaponry, that Forgiveness. Moving on from there, guys, in terms of the helmet, we've got two important ones. Ashes to Assets. My super is going to recharge so much more thanks to my grenades. Then Bountiful Wells for more well production. Then on the arms, importantly, we have Bolstering Detonation to get my class ability more for using my grenades. Then we have Elemental Ordnance. This is our main source of Elemental Wells. After that, we've then got Seeking Wells on the legs, just massively going to increase the usability of this build. You don't have to go after the wells, they come to you. And then lastly, on the class item, Bomber is fantastic. Obviously, using Thruster all the time is going to give us our grenades more. This Superconductor mod only costs 1, and it means I can use my arc melee against an unstopped champion in a pinch and deal with them. And then we've got another Elemental Ordnance, so we're getting 3 arc elemental wells for grenade kills. And then lastly, Lucian Finisher. This is insane. You finish a champion, you get heavy ammo. Like, what more could you ask for? Now moving on to Hunter, we've got a Night Stalker with Mobius Quiver, a Marksman's Dodge, Snare Bomb, Vortex Grenade. The aspects are Vanishing Step and Stylish Executioner. The fragments are Echo of Persistence, Echo of Starvation, Echo of Obscurity, and Echo of Undermining. The weapons, firstly, we have a Witherhoard, phenomenal weapon even with the nerf. After that, we've actually got the Vales X or whatever it's called. This is actually the seasonal weapon available from Vanguard, Gambit, Crucible, etc. Pretty good void weapon here actually. And then lastly, of course, we have yet another taipan to take advantage of that acute void burn. Moving on from there, the featured exotic in the armor is going to be the Gear Falcons. This thing is absolutely juiced to the gills. Every time you come out of invisibility, you get volatile rounds. And combined with stylish, it means that when you get a kill with volatile rounds, you go invisible. So you have a constant chain back and forth between those things. Now we also again have a Font of Might present here to increase void damage. After that, guys, in terms of the helmet, we've got Seeking Wells, again, very, very good. Then on the arms, we've just got all the Unstoppable mods here. After that, guys, on the legs, Reaping Wellmaker is going to be our main source of well production, and on the class item, we do have enough to fit in a Weakened Clear. Very important, and especially with the Wither Horde, fantastic at keeping the bigger enemies like champions and the boss debuffed for a long period of time. And then of course, again, a Lucian finisher. After that, for the Warlock, we have an interesting build. So we're Voidwalker using Cataclysm, Healing Rift, Pocket Singularity, as well as Vortex Grenades. Then we've got Feed the Void as well as Chaos Accelerant as our aspects. And for the fragments, we have Echo of Undermining, Echo of Obscurity, and Echo of Remnants. Now for our weapons, the first one is actually the Wish Ender. This also, like the Arbalest, has intrinsic anti-barrier properties. It hits like an absolute truck, but it's primary, so you have infinite ammo for it. Then we've got the Nation of Beasts, just to be a hand cannon for unstoppable hand cannon rounds. And then lastly, yet again, the Taipan. Really easy weapon to get, craftable, exactly what you want for this Grandmaster. Now guys, after that, the featured exotic is going to be the Controverse Holds. So these are going to let you charge up your grenades, do a significant amount of damage, and get grenade energy back, so you can just spam grenades all the time. To help with that, Grenade Kickstart is present, and then we've got Shield Break Charge to become Charged with Light. So this is actually a Charged with Light build, because after that, we've got Charged Up, so you can get Charged with Light times 3 now, and then our payoff is Energy Converter. So the more stacks of Charge with Light you have, it's going to use them all up when you throw your grenade, and you get your super energy back. You can get up to 50% of your super back. So as soon as you use your Nova Bomb, then you spam a grenade, you're back up to 50% of your supercharged. So this is going to result in way more Nova Bombs than normal. In fact, to make that even more significant, we have supercharged, so you can get Charged with Light times 5. Now guys, after that, again, we have Counter Charge as another way to get Charged with Light. And then we've got Advanced Scout, not a bad mod if you can fit it in. And then Lucian Finisher yet again. Now, as for some tips for the Nightfall itself, firstly, you may encounter what we did where no enemies are spawning. Just don't go too far forward. They will randomly appear once Bungie's servers get their act together, so you don't want to be caught in the middle of a bunch of enemies here. Just kind of back off, wait for them to spawn. Now, another tip, guys, is that when you're dealing with these champions, make sure to involve your heavy, especially if you are using Lucian Finisher. You actually get so much heavy that you're going to be full on your heavy and then missing ammo for stuff like your Arbalest. That's what was happening to me, so don't be afraid to use it liberally if you have Lucian. Moving on from there, if you're in this part here and you can see enemies spawning out of these portals, if you get your Titan to throw a Storm Grenade or your Warlock to do a Vortex Grenade on these portals, it is absolutely amazing to deal with the ads. Additionally, take the time to actually kill enemies. A lot of people try to just plant the orbs while there's still enemies alive. It seems like a good idea until you're getting absolutely schmacked by a gladiator. So do the safe thing and clear out enemies before doing the objectives. But guys, moving on from there to the boss fight, a little bit of a cheeky tip here. If you're going for 100k, you can shoot these Minotaurs and then they will count as points for you, even though the boss just killed them and you had nothing to do with it. Now, as for the actual boss fight, firstly, you need to complete this plate to be able to damage the boss, but as you're doing it, a bunch of ads are going to spawn, huck some grenades into the middle of the arena, and you should be good to go. And once the boss does spawn, you want to move to this back portion of the arena, as you can see in the background gameplay, because you want to be putting distance between yourself and the boss, who really isn't going to move too far out of this middle section of the arena. And the same is also true for most of the adds. The gladiators and the war beasts are going to charge you, but the rest of the adds are kind of just going to hang around this middle part of the arena that again are very vulnerable to tossing a storm grenade in that center of the arena. Additionally, you really need to watch out for the boss's attacks. The main one is going to be when the boss kind of slams void into the ground, and then there's going to be a line of void that tracks yourself and your teammates and goes towards you. If you go over anywhere in this line, you're basically dead, especially with acute void burn. So ways to avoid this are again standing back, so you have a lot of time before that void line hits you and you have time to see it coming and move out of the way. And also don't be stationary. Again, it's going to kind of track you, so if you're standing in one spot aiming down sights not moving, that's when you get hit. If you're kind of going side to side, it's often to kind of go beside you and then you can just avoid it. Now, after you've done enough damage to the boss, he's going to become immune again, and then you have to deal with 3 different plates. So the safer approach is to have all 3 teammates go to one plate, complete it, go to the next one, and then go to the last one. However, enemies are going to be spawning constantly while you're doing this, so that's going to result in more enemies overall. If you spread out and everyone has their own plate, yes, it's easier to be overwhelmed as a single person, but if you've got some good ad clearing stuff and you can do it that way, it means that all 3 plates get completed quicker and therefore not as many ads have had time to spawn. But you can also split it so, 2 people go on one plate, one person goes on another, the person solo maybe has their supercharged or whatever, or is the best player, and that's kind of a split in between these 2 strategies. But no matter what you do, jump off the plates if you're in danger. The amount of people that I've seen die because they refuse to step off the plate as they're being destroyed by war beasts is way too high. Remember, if there's an enemy on the plate, it's going to glow red. You can't even progress it anyways. Might as well jump off, kill the enemies from afar, and then when it's safe, get back on the plate. But regardless, when the 3 plates are completed, you can damage the boss again, and the second you kill him, the Grandmaster is going to end. So if you're using weapons that I've recommended like the Taipan, you can really stick to that back area of the map, just completely target snipe the boss, again in relative safety because most enemies also stick to the middle of the arena. And as a result, you can really ignore most of the other enemies that are then spawning at this point and just DPS down the boss as quickly as possible. Remember guys, there's no champions in this entire boss fight to worry about. It's just the boss itself. So it often happens that you kill the boss when there's still a ton of enemies alive, but it just results in a much quicker run overall. And so guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.